Right, let's have a go at Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation. I've not really played it before. I did have a go doing one video a few minutes ago, but I got interrupted rudely by a robocall, so we'll start again. Right, start a new game. Aveline. Confirm. Right, so title sequence.
Connect with the past. Relive history.
There's a bit of bokeh
Using
there in the background.
Abstergo's incredible research into memory, Asmus suggests taking within the past.
Oh, so there's some kind of science backstory going on.
Allows you to access the memories of Aveline de Grandpré, an 18th century assassin caught between two worlds,
1759,
fighting to find her true purpose.
Before the American Revolution,
Make history yours.
So
History is our playground.
Colonialism,
Animus.
post-colonialism from that Paul Gilroy point of view. Well, this is not post, this is during colonialism and the era of slavery, the transatlantic slave trade. If it was New Orleans, that would have meant that it was a French colony rather than the British one. So, graphics are not too bad. I know this is the HD one, so they've been improved over what you got on the Vita, but not bad. I mean, not great. Certainly not what we'd expect from an 8th generation console, but not bad. Oh, chickens. Right, chase the chicken, I'm assuming. Right, controls, I'm assuming, are going to be your typical WDSA. Okay. Fast walk space and hold the right click to run. Right, chase the chicken. One of the things that always made me a bit sick about these games is the way the camera swings around in this third person objective point of view. Never a huge fan of these games, and never played them to make me feel seasick. Now, we've got a slave block here in the background. Our character is obviously black.
Look at this one. Hard-working,
If you are looking at this from a Stuart Hall point of view, you might take an oppositional reading to this in seeing that using
as I was saying,
slavery as
this
the
one is
backstory
strong
of
as
the
an
game
ox.
might be a bit
Good
offensive.
health, and
But obviously
all,
the third
not
reading is
counting
going to
missing
be,
dolls.
you know, an anti-slavery message in which the white European slavers are the villains, and you, as a person of colour, are the heroine, hero, whatever you want to say. A glowing orb, that must mean go that way. Got a waypoint here, haven't we? Bypass the guards via the backyard. Right. Little mini map on the bottom showing us where to go. What's the fence? I'm going to be able to go through there. Let's go this way. Oops, nope. Stuck on the washboard. There we go. There we go, around here. And there we have it. Right.
Mama!
So as I said, from a post-colonial point of view, this is not post, it's pre, it's actual colonial. So it's going to be dealing with issues of race, of slavery and these kind of things, which I suppose at least is making it, you know, visible, I suppose. We might call it a bit distasteful.
Pardon,
Oh, not
madame.
your mother.
You there! Bantling pest! I'll have you arrested!
So very cinematic, a lot of cutscenes in the moment and not a lot doing anything. But nice little max dissolve. We're in the future now, and now we're going to have to do some fighting. Right. So, you go through your typical tutorial. Counter. E. Attack. Why is that not working? There you go. Oh, so you're dead. You're not now. Take that. zombie slaver. Oh, it's got a snake. That ain't healthy. See the doctor about that. Well, I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of voodoo element here. What's interesting is she's obviously an upper class character.
Was it a nightmare?
I'm assuming she's partly based on Dido Elizabeth Bell, who was painted in 1779 along with her cousin Lady Elizabeth Murray at Kenwood House.
A mother working.
And the painting was commissioned by William Murray, the first Earl of Mansfield, who was the Lord Chief Justice of England at the time. And she was the illegitimate mixed-race daughter of Mansfield's nephew, Sir John Lindsay,
You worry too?
who brought her over to England to be brought up by his
Or are you
uncle as a typical English lady, regardless of her colour. Where he saw it, she was my daughter, doesn't matter what colour she is.
The night has better
She's still nobility. And she obviously grew up in a time against the backdrop of slavery. Although there's technically no slavery in England. There was, but legally there wasn't. And, she became a major part of the anti-slavery movement. But here we got Aveline changing into her assassin's costume. And this brings to mind ideas of gender performativity. So we've seen her in her lady dress, in her lady persona, and now she's put on this much more masculine outfit. Right. Jumping and running. Typical stealth game behaviour. I can do a leap of faith, so hold that, do space. Thought convenient Haywain. Right. Hold that to enter high profile. What does that mean? I don't know. Right. Into Act E.
We have uncovered news of a plantation from which slaves are vanishing. The owners reported their escape, but our network can find no trace of them. If you don your slave guise, perhaps you can investigate this mystery from within. A dressing chamber has been prepared for you in a strategic location. From the top of the cathedral, you will see it.
Right, a bit of running, jumping. Right, this parkour sort of like element is one of the key selling points of the Assassin's Creed game. I mean, in many ways it's not dissimilar to something like Uncharted, which is a pretty good game. I like the Uncharted series. Can I do anything up here? No. Right, so right, reach the bell tower. Ooh. Right. There are people. Gotta avoid them. Right. Running. Right. So, as I said, in gender performativity, we've got a much more male persona going on here, which I'm sure they're going to make something of. Climb, 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 climb. Climbing, running, jumping. Right, where are we going? Up there. Big phallic tower. Right. This is going to give us some kind of god's eye view. Notice I was using the typical conventions, visual conventions of, film. We've got an open soldier objective point of view shot going into an opening title sequence. Just like you get in a movie. Ubisoft Sphere and Ubisoft Montreal there, as we said, two of the main houses involved in this. So, it brings us into the ownership and the subsidiaries and how they use synergy to work together. New Orleans by night. Change the slave persona. Right, so assuming we're going to have to do another leap of faith here, but first we need to synchronize whatever that means. Oh, that means this. I assume this is going to give us map information or something. Yeah. There's a little icon down there, presumably showing us what our personas are. Something's locked I can't get into. Bottom right, fists, I assume that's what I've got to fight with. It's got no other weapons or something maybe. There's got a health bar down there. Tells me what persona I'm in at the top by the looks of it. And I assume that bars my notoriety. Right, hold and E. That's not how we do it. Oh, look, I'm dead. Pigs hear that, didn't I? Try again. Always takes a while to get used to the controls in a game when you've never played it before.
Succube! Laisse-moi en paix!
This isn't good, is it? Don't need to be climbing that, do I? So you go in here. Enter. So, 3 costumes by the looks of it. Currently in the assassin persona. Aveline is best suited for combat when an assassin persona and can use chain kill ability. The assassin persona is always notorious. Guards are quick to notice it. Lower the assassin persona notoriety by bribing corrupt magistrates using any persona. The assassin persona can climb freely. Well, notice how masculinized this is in a kind of piratey kind of way. The use of knives, swords, guns, they're phallic symbols. She is sort of like symbolically taking on masculine privilege, I guess you could say. You know, get labels that do masculine things like fight, run, jump. Doesn't really sexualize her either, which is, you know, the male gaze element of video games. I mean, just think about Lara Croft, for example. It's always been a contentious issue. The lady persona, weak in combat. Well, that's another stereotype, isn't it? That women can't fight. Has limited access to weapons and tools. The lady persona can charm and bribe guards. Well, that's gender performativity again, isn't it? You women may be able to use their charm, their emotional intelligence to persuade men to do what they want. The lady persona gains notoriety slower because, well, upper class, isn't it? The lady persona's notoriety, to lower the lady persona's notoriety, kill witnesses using any persona. She can't jump, climb, or sprint. And slave persona, weak in combat, has limited access to weapons and tools. Slave persona can blend with the crowd, work in groups, or by carrying crates. To reduce the slave's persona notoriety, tear down any wanted posters using any persona. Slave is free run. Again, it's something about the invisibility, doesn't it, of the underclasses. It's almost like we've got a Marxist lumpen
A delivery will
proletariat
arrive
here.
at the plantation. A perfect cover.
Bourgeois
Hide in a wagon
and
and
the
follow
lady
the cart
persona
to
and
discover the location without being seen.
we've got proletariat in the assassin's persona. Right, so I knew going the wrong way. Got the city gates. That's got a well-realized world. Good production design on it. Doesn't be way too many cutscenes, not enough gameplay at this point. I see that means eye lines. Those streaks that came out of there.
Salutations!
I'm not doing anything suspicious, so I'm fine. Right. I mean, as I was saying, if you're considering your representations, you're considering your, you know, the colonialism element of it, you can very much bring in Paul Gilroy. But as I said, he was talking about post-colonialism, and this is very much colonialism. But, you know, there's not too, you know, even though we've got these shots that are following the character, it's nowhere near as sexualized as the female representations you would normally see in video games. I suppose you could argue maybe that's because, I don't know, maybe they were deliberately trying to target female gamers and therefore deliberately avoided that. Whereas if they were deliberately targeting male gamers, they may very well much have emphasized the sexualization of the characters. Oh, there's a guard there. I'm going to be seen by that guard, probably. I'll go this way. But there's another guard there. Can I sneak a look around this corner? By chance. Or am I going to have to climb the building? There's nobody there. I'll go this way. There seems to be a loot chest of some kind. Chest in there. Huh. It's interesting, if you're talking about effects theory, that people are often concerned with video games making people violent. They don't ever seem to think twice about the fact that pretty much every video game gets the player to constantly steal stuff. Out of, you know, anything that's basically not nailed down, you can pick up and walk off with. Oh, poster. Get rid of that. Yoink. You know, if you believe video games, pretty much every closed drawer, not that you find many chests and boxes hanging around in public, but you know, how often in video games you expected to loot the corpses of the dead? That's a war crime. If you did that in a war zone, you would go to jail. Is there another box over here I can go and nab while I'm at it? Should I leave those until later? Don't know. You just leave boxes of loot hanging around anyway. Random bit of wood nailing going on there. Guards. Can I sneak around the back of these guards without them noticing?
You're dreaming, boys. Oh, they will catch her, whip her, and have her back in chains.
Escaped from the plantation.
I pray they found a better life.
Right, go. Oh, another Haywain. Chase the Haywain. Right. There we go. Right. Infiltrate the plantation without being detected. Take a crate and pass the guards. Where can I find a crate? There's a crate there. Trouble seeing this because it's quite dark. Right, red areas are restricted. Guards there, I have to go around them, aren't I? Can't go that way, I don't think. So let's go the long way around. Right. Amazing how picky we get. I mean, when I started gaming back in the old days of the 70s, video games were basically Pac-Man, Space Invaders and Pong, which is basically two white lines and a dot. And I look at these graphics and thinking, oh, not great, are they? But I suppose you expect more from a PC. Especially when you're used to, you know, Xbox, PlayStation, things like that. Much better graphics, or you know, the kind of games that we get on this in terms of, you know, this isn't the most powerful of PCs by today's standards. It is a special gaming PC, but it's a few years old. It's not up to the latest 4K kind of graphic standards. But still used to games being a lot better than this in terms of the graphics. I can see why it's not the most well received of games. It is a bit dull, even by the standards of stealth games. Not a lot going on. His guard there, is he coming towards me or away from me? He's going away from me. I need to go up there, don't I? Let's drop this box. Not aggressively. Let's climb. Outside of this building. Right. Running. Right, where am I going? Oh, we don't see them.
Who are you? How did you get past the guards? We have plenty of trouble here already. Don't need no more.
I'm Aveline, a
These
friend.
fire effects quite
Slaves
primitive.
have been reported escaped, but none has yet reached any safe house. My contact is the worst.
If you're a spy, Aveline, you won't find no cause for persecution here. My brothers have vanished, then my aunt. Today my youngest sister, Therese. They ain't escaped, as you say. They're taken. Besides, Therese would never survive on her own.
I'll find her. If any have trodden through these fields, they must have left tracks.
So, a lot of expositional cutscenes. It's going to be some climbing. Right. 53 meters. So I have to go this way, aren't I? Branches look like I need to jump onto them. Aha. Right. Got to this, whatever it is, watchtower of some kind. Walk to the glowing orb. Synchronize. So, establishing shot, which I'm assuming is kind of like synchronizing my map. Right. Investigate the barn. Right, I'm not going to do a leap of faith, I don't think. I'm just going to go this way. Right. Now, I don't want to go up there, do I? Right, there we go. Interact with the barn. So, more
Don't
cutscenes.
be afraid, Therese. I'm a friend. Who did this? Your master?
No. This son. Oh, please help.
It's a
Be
narrative
strong.
cliche, the
I'll
cruel
get you
son
to
of the
safety.
Lord or
You'll
Master.
pay for this. Guards, hurry! We've got rats in the barn.
Tell his evil's got a beard and no moustache. Oh, I was pressing W, not E. Idiot. Right, try again. What was I about? We got it this time. Right.
This nightmare. I can't take no more.
His terror is over, Therese. Stay with me. We must hurry.
Right, escort her to safety. No corpses to loot. Shan't be breaking the Geneva Convention at least. Oh. That was even unexpected.
My daughter, wandering alone at dawn. Where have you been?
After the nightmare, I went to take air. Dear stepmother, I'm grown now. You needn't worry for my safety.
You underestimate the dangers of the world. If not your safety, then to your reputation. Why must you be so headstrong? I wish you would...
In truth, Madeleine, I'm in need of your assistance. I'm afraid it's urgent.
Bit of slut shaming going on there.
While walking, I was startled by cries of distress. Following them, I discovered a woman. A slave. Badly wounded.
Where is she? I will send help.
She awaits in a wagon. Outside. In the street.
Aveline!
Don't be cross. I knew you'd know the thing to do. I couldn't risk leaving her to perish. Or worse.
Or worse! You have already sentenced her to persecution by your very impulsiveness. Very well. I will not turn my back now, not that you have left me much choice. I will see that she is treated in utmost discretion.
Thank you, Madeleine.
In the meantime, hurry to town and fetch her new traveling clothes. Go quickly. We have no time to lose.
Okay. Right, let's have a wander. Tear down posters. So you can't run in this, guys. You've got no weapons by the looks of it. Interact. Like that. There you go, it's two of those. Right, where are we going? This way. He's got a heart above his head. Does that mean I can charm him? Don't know. But while we're on this little jaunt, let's consider the concept of to what degree I am merely controlling this Aveline avatar. Get up and wait. And to what degree am I actually embodying the character? You know? There's a PBS Ideas channel video is worth watching, but especially when you've got a third-person perspective viewpoint, it distances you from the character and makes you feel more like you're controlling it, as opposed to, say, a first-person subjective point of view, which makes you feel more like you are that character. Now, with this kind of game. You know, I'm a middle-aged Welsh white man in the early 21st century. To what extent am I really going to be able to truly empathize with a 16th century black woman? You know, we all have empathy, of course. We can understand how people might feel. But I do wonder whether a black female gamer would be more likely to pick up a game like this, and how they would feel about it. Now, this woman here has got a big box. I'm assuming that's my parcel. Oh, yep, she's following me. She appears to be a slave, which is an interesting question. She wasn't with me before. Is she my slave? Does she belong to my father? Did she come from the shop? Don't know. Either way, it's not like black people in those days didn't own slaves. They did. Many of them, not many of them, when white traders went to Africa to buy slaves, they were buying them off black slavers. The black slave trade existed in Africa long before Europeans turned up. We just made a much bigger market. Slavery still exists in Africa today, let's not forget. There's probably more slavery in the world now than there was in this period. But a bit dubious. Look at the character motions on this walk. Emphasise swaying of the hips. Whilst this game doesn't have much in the way of a male gaze in comparison to a lot of these games, this is still adding a sexualization to this character. This is only in this persona. You don't see it in the other personas. It's an exaggerated sexuality. Why is this man wearing a hat?
Aveline, late to lunch
Again,
and
slave
looking
in the
ashen
background
again.
there, almost
I
blending
fear
with
you
the
are not
wallpaper.
resting enough.
Oh, Papa. I'll take my rest when this life is exhausted.
You will hasten that end at this rate. I do fear you are more like your father than his feet for a lady. A chip of the same block. In passing, Monsieur Blanc requests your assistance at the warehouse. I dare say he has work to offer.
Is that all he has to offer? I should think for all his attention, he would request your hand.
All the same, it's the work that interests me.
Philippe.
Oh, dear me. By the turn of this conversation, it would appear I have lingered too long at this table. If you'll excuse me.
Ejecting a romance?
Good day, Papa.
There, he is gone. I can tell you now, Aveline. I have taken care of everything. Your friend will be safe. If you have any more womanly problems, do not hesitate to see me.
Perhaps they're suggesting that compassion is a feminine virtue. Right. We've played enough of this game, I think. There are lots more walkthroughs available online if you can go and have a look at. Try to throw a bit of theory into this one. But, as I say, consider the extent to which Aveline here might be considered an aspirational role model in some way. You know, one of the other key texts we've been doing is Black Panther. So, you know, if you consider the fact that both women and people of colour are very much starved of aspirational role models in the mainstream media in terms of heroic figures. So, you know, a film like Black Panther and a video game like this might be appealing to that audience. I guess you'd have to ask someone who was a person of colour and a woman, or both, or either. So, at least this is an attempt to try and target an audience that's usually ignored by video games. to a certain extent. I mean, it's not to say there aren't other female characters in the Assassin's Creed franchise. This is the first protagonist that was a woman in the franchise. There are other video games that will allow you to pick your gender and your ethnicity. Sometimes it's fun just to mess about with that. You know, sometimes if you're given the option, I'll pick the female character just because I can. Doesn't mean to say I embody that female character, but, you know, sometimes it's just good to not follow the basic stereotype. Right, okay, I'll leave it at that. If anyone has got any questions, you know where I am. But, get the game, it wasn't expensive, I think I paid £7 for it. Have a play of it. As I say, it's not the most exciting video game I've ever played, but you know, it's the one we have to study. Right, okay, I'll get out of this thing and I'll talk to you next time.